Hi, my name is Allison Gersh and I'm a survivor of the Texas divorce industry. As I taught myself what tools I needed to be an effective pro se litigant, I vowed at that point to put it all together in an easy to access website and to make these face-to-face videos in order to emotionally stabilize unemployed, underemployed, and targeted parents from the lack of due process standards that plague family courts across the U.S. As 40 to 50% of marriages end in divorce, the industry standard of not adhering to due process ensures that families are in a lose-lose situation, and family courts have the most money flowing through them. Please check the description for links to our website and supporting documentation that I talk about in this video. As you may or may not know, that family law and the children who are subject to it are trapped in an outdated system that operates without any real accountability. Lawyers don't come with money-back guarantees, and they also run the Bar Association. Mental health professionals typically assigned to this case are on a short list of providers who refer to each other to additional cases. On the back end, they also teach judges how to interpret psychological evaluations, how to deal with domestic violence, and what signs to look for in targeted or abusive parents. So it stands to reason, if you can control the educational input in a limited system that operates without any real accountability, you can predict and sometimes control the outcome to these cases, get yourself assigned to them on a long-term basis in order to continue fees and payments for services. But I'm not here to spell out how bleak family law is. There's 1,000 websites and videos that do that for me. I'm here to break things down. I'm here to share my experience and, again, emotionally stabilize people who are being targeted by the system in order to stay in their children's lives or protect themselves from child support that's completely based on data that existed 10 or 20 years ago versus what the economy dictates that person is making today. So what's important to understand here, that there is two sides to all aspects of law. There is state law and codes, and there is case law. State law and codes should be accessible on your state.gov website that holds your state constitution. Somewhere on that site should also be additional code, family code, penal code, financial code, estates code, so on and so forth. Case law is way more fluid and changing. On our website and linked below in the description is 4 or 5 sites that you can use to search by issue and then use those case law in order to support your arguments or debate with the judge. And most of the time, again, it's just to stay in your children's life or avoid a crippling child support payment. On top of that, there are 2 very different family law models at work here. The first one is the Chancery Court model, which was adopted from 14th century England. It allows judges to make for more flexible rulings. On the other hand, it also allows for judges not to adhere to state law and state code. The industry tends to stay here because it's easy and it's lazy, and it helps keeps things moving along. The second model that is in play, or that everyone wishes was in play, upholds state law and codes and was handed down in its earliest version from the United States Supreme Court back in 1858. It's called the Domestic Relations Exception, which specifically states that state courts must adhere to its state laws. The simplistic and obvious argument to uphold the domestic relations exception is by pointing out that state and district court-approved forms are all built off of state code. You will have to debate or argue these points with the judge and with the opposing counsel in hearing. And I would also use this in your file documents too, some examples of which are a petition for divorce, a counter petition, a motion, a general denial, or an affidavit, which is attached to a general denial in the event that your case is that out of control and you need to document everything that's actually happened in your life for the marriage. And on a personal note, it's far more beneficial for one parent to support and assist the other parent in establishing a second and stable household. The children recover from shock of divorce much easier that way because the pressure is off of them. And in a very honest statement, I'd much rather support my former partner than make some stranger's speedboat payment. Because when you enter the court, the judges and the lawyers decide what happens to your money. And if you think it's protected, it's not. College education, 401ks, retirement accounts, vacation homes, your existing home that you live in are all up for grabs. You can be ordered to sell or liquidate those assets and then pay attorneys those fees. So I urge you, in order to try to mediate, to remain flexible when it comes to children's changing schedules and preferences, and most importantly, do not disparage the other parent, even when your child's in the house. Their hearing is far more better than you think. And your children are looking to you to example how to behave in personal relationships. So how you come through this divorce is directly going to impact how your children react in their relationships in the future. You're not alone in this. There's tons of, again, the statistics are 40 to 50% of marriages across the US end in divorce. And I'm sorry you're going through this, and I thank you for your time.